Ready to rock? All right, I'm following. Yeah, Madeline was just telling me to go. Can I just ask people to take their seats? Good afternoon. If I could ask everybody to take your seats, please. Find a seat. It got picked up. It's working. And while I check it, everybody can hear me, yeah? All right, there we go. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Jim Kirby. I'm the project director for DUNE, and it's a great privilege of mine to welcome you here to the start of cryostat installation. I'm here as project director, but I'm actually here on behalf of everybody who has worked so hard up to now to get us to this point, and everybody who will work hard in the future to enable the science that's going to start here. So you'll hear from representatives from across the world and across our nation about that, but I'd like to start by thanking the project team, our ST-SDA partners, our industrial partners, our university partners, national labs, and everybody around the world who's gotten us this far. It's greatly appreciated, and there are great things to come. And so thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here. I'd like to specifically thank our leaders, both local from the city of Leeds and far away, who have joined us as well. And I'd specifically like to thank Undersecretary Gill, who has come and joined us here today. It's unusual and very important that the Undersecretary joins us. This is an occasion, that is of great import to high energy physics, to the laboratory, and to the nation. And his presence here is a sign of that, and to the international nature of our science. So thank you so much for being here. This mine this is my first time as an MC of an event, so please applaud when you're supposed to, because I don't really get that sort of thing yet. The original Homestake mine was a center of the community of Leeds for over 100 years. Actual research, high energy neutrino research started here in 1965 with Ray Davis while it was still a gold mine. And then about 20 years ago, it transitioned from a gold mine into America's underground scientific laboratory. It will, with our work, continue to be the center of excellence, not just to our neighbors in Leeds, but to people across the world. And that's part of what we're celebrating here today, is to come together with that. We look forward to the research that this will bring, to the partnerships that this will bring, and to the scientific excellence that this will bring for decades. And I look forward to coming back to Leeds quite a bit. With that, I don't know that there's any better way for me to start than introducing Mike Headley, who's the Sanford Underground Research Facility Executive Director. Since I've started a couple years ago, Mike has been a key partner for me to learn from, to work with, and to understand how we can best advance DUNE at CERF, Mike joined CERF in 2008, and over the past almost 18 years, his leadership has established CERF as America's underground laboratory, hosting world-class science, engineering, and education. As a measure of that, not just Mike's leadership, but the state of South Dakota and South Dakota State University will be giving Mike an honorary doctorate tomorrow, actually, for his advancement. I don't really think there's anything else I need to say beyond that. Mike Headley.
I appreciate your attempts to get me to cry before I have to get up here and talk. So thanks, Jim, so much. So good afternoon. I want to welcome you all to CERF to celebrate this incredible milestone. We're grateful that you're here to celebrate the start of DUNE detector installation, as evidenced by the large beam that's out in the parking lot that we'll be signing later. and it will become a permanent part of the experiment. Actually, after the experiment is built, we'll be able to actually see it when you go into one end of the cavern where it will be located. So this milestone we're celebrating today is only possible through the incredible partners working together to complete this world-class experiment. Through our combined efforts and talents of those from DOE, Fermilab, CERF, CERN, and the International DUNE collaboration, they all bring together an impeccable safety record, deep institutional knowledge, the best scientific minds on the planet, and the kind of grit that it takes to get a job done right and on time. Our future is forged by the hard work and collaboration of everyone involved in this project. And while we look forward today with joy, it's also important to acknowledge this milestone would not be possible without the vision, persistence, and generosity of the past. So we're here today, thanks to those who came before us and those who are still with us. I start out with Senator Mike Rounds, who was the lead in negotiating the agreement with Barrick Gold to even be able to attain the property for us to move forward, and has played a huge role in CERF advancing for the last 20 years. Would also like to recognize the remarkable philanthropy of T. Denny Sanford and the scientific leadership of physicists like Dr. Kevin Lesko, who was around in the early days that really got the community behind moving forward. Because of their work, we stand here today at the site of the largest science experiment ever attempted on U.S. soil. And we have a bright future thanks to the dedication of so many individuals who made this milestone possible. When it comes to this bright future, I'm especially glad that we're including our young people today. We've invited students from around the region here to come by and also put their signature on this piece of scientific history. So again, thank you all for joining us today to celebrate this major milestone and make history. Welcome to CERF.
Thank you, Mike. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Undersecretary Dario Gil as our next speaker. Dr. Gill was the IBM Senior Vice President and Director of Research, responsible for one of the world's largest and most influential corporate research laboratories. Since joining the Department of Energy, confirmed in September 2025, the Undersecretary has championed the standards of excellence in the Office of Science, both between the Genesis mission, but also large-scale scientific endeavors such as LB&F DUNE. Having the support of DOE leadership is vital to our future of DUNE, Fermilab, and American leadership in particle physics. Chicago planner Daniel Burnham used to say, "Make no little plans." I think we've accomplished that with LB&F DUNE. His legacy has lived on in the city for over 100 years, and our legacy will live on here for decades to come. LB&F DUNE and Fermilab are fortunate to have an advocate in Dr. Gill, who is working tirelessly to ensure our future leadership in science. Thank you, Dr. Gill, for being here, and I invite you.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to join you here in Leeds, South Dakota, for this very important milestone. DUNE, a global initiative led by the U.S. Department of Energy and Fermilab, is the largest construction project currently underway in the Department of Energy's Office of Science, and one of the most ambitious scientific experiments in the world. Today marks a very significant step forward in bringing this historic endeavor to life. Let me begin by recognizing Senator Mike Rounds, Representative Dusty Johnson. Thank you for your leadership and for being here today. I also want to thank Mark Hagen, West River Regional Director for Senator Thune, who's also joining us. The support of Congress is essential to advancing critical projects like DUNE. The United States has a long history of investing in bold scientific endeavors, efforts like the space program and the creation of the internet that have reshaped our nation and delivered benefits far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Under Secretary Chris Wright's leadership, the Department of Energy continues that legacy, championing American leadership in science and innovation. DUNE stands as a powerful example of that commitment. From Fermilab in Illinois to the caverns right beneath our feet here in the Black Hills, we're building something with the potential to transform our understanding of matter, the universe, and our place in it. This community knows very well the significance of scientific discovery. In 1965, chemist Ray Davis, drawing on a theoretical model developed by John Bacall, launched a groundbreaking neutrino experiment right here at the Homestake gold mine. That pioneering effort, the first to detect and count neutrinos from the sun, ultimately earned the 2002 Nobel Prize in Physics. The work we celebrate today builds directly on that extraordinary legacy. It continues a tradition of discovery that spans generations, borders, and scientific disciplines. More than 1,500 collaborators from around the globe have joined together to create a world-leading experiment that will allow scientists to observe how neutrinos change as they travel, capturing data that only DUNE can provide. It is the only experiment capable of making discovery-level measurements of the ordering of neutrino masses. It will open the door to exploring new physics in domains previously out of reach, with the capacity to fundamentally reshape our understanding of the laws of nature. And the impact won't be limited to physics. Technologies developed through DUNE, from advanced electronics to innovations in communications and medical imaging, will ripple far beyond the laboratory, strengthening industries and improving lives in ways we're only beginning to envision. During today's tour of the underground site, I was struck by the sheer magnitude of this undertaking, particularly the cathedral-like caverns that will house DUNE's detectors. The scale is breathtaking, and the international partnership that makes it possible is truly inspiring. I'm deeply grateful to our global collaborators, international funding agencies, and the entire particle physics community for their dedication and shared vision. I also want to recognize the Sanford Underground Research Facility and the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority, especially Director Mike Headley, for your tremendous commitment for this project. On behalf of the U.S. Department of Energy, I extend my sincere congratulations to Fermilab, to SURF, CERN, our international partners, and the entire project team. This next phase is a historic moment and just the beginning of what DUNE will make possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Undersecretary Gill. It's a great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Senator Mike Rounds. Senator Rounds has been championing South Dakota as a destination for underground science for decades. Prior to becoming a U.S. Senator, Senator Rounds previously served as the 31st governor of South Dakota from 2003 to 2011. And for those of you who took a tour recently or sometime in the near past, you passed Governor's Corner, and there were a few pictures taken there today. Different title, but the same gentleman. He's a driving force in the creation of CERN. It's been integral to what we are celebrating here today. And in truth, without his leadership and perseverance, the Black Hills would not have this underground laboratory. Senator Mike Rounds.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon. They asked me if I would say a few words, and I got thinking, where do you begin except to say thank you to a whole lot of people that are in this room right now. Casey Peterson, who has been now working on this project now with the authority for over 22 years, just stayed with it throughout the entire time period. But let me go back just a little bit, and I'm going to try to do this really fast to say thank you to a whole lot of people. But can you imagine a time in which we come in here and we see the Homestake gold mine, which is shutting down? 310 miles underground of drifts and tunnels, well over 1.5 miles deep. and an opportunity perhaps to do some science here if we can put the right people together. I talked to a gentleman here in Rapid City who had been working at other national laboratories, and I asked him what it would mean for our state. And he says, you don't measure the value of a national lab in millions of dollars, you measure it in billions of dollars. That caught my attention. And as we started looking at this, my brother Jamie and I had started talking with some of the scientists from around the world who were talking about how critical it was to do underground laboratory, the type of work that could only be done there. And they talked about Ray Davis and John Bacall. And they talked about the fact that there had been a Nobel Prize won there, and that while there might not be gold there anymore, there most certainly was an opportunity for more Nobel physics prizes to be found underground. I found Dr. Kevin Lesko came in and who committed that as a project manager, he wanted to see it happen. And he stayed with us until the project was completed. T. Denny Sanford, who came in and said, I will give you the money so that young people don't have to leave South Dakota to rub shoulders with some of the greatest scientists in the world. Dr. Alfred Mann from the University of Pennsylvania, who came in as we were just beginning this, and who said he would chain himself to the front gate if they threatened to flood the mine. And we went out, and Jamie and I actually flew out to Rapid to his attorney's office, who had called and said, can you help us with this gentleman? He's going to go chain himself to the front gate. And I told Dr. Mann, I said, look, it's okay. They used to put out fires deep underground by flooding the mine. We're not going to let it happen long term. We will make this happen. Dr. Mann stayed with us throughout that entire process, and I wish he could be here with us today to see what was happening. But it's people like that that have stood side by side and have talked about the good things. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Dr. Calaprice from Princeton, who helped us put together a series of scholarships that we call the Davis Bacall Scholarships for young people to come in and to rub shoulders with scientists from around the world right here. And then to go to Italy, to Gran Sasso, and to see what they were doing down there, and then to study at Princeton for a while. Those young people today that I know of went on to do science and are now doing patents and great work for mankind. The reason that the South Dakota legislature, 99 out of 105, agreed in a special session in 2004 to fund this, $39 million of South Dakota hard-earned money, was because they could see an opportunity for the future for young people to have something they couldn't get anyplace else, a chance to stay here and to do research for those that wanted to, but to see what could happen when you worked in great opportunities for science, in areas of great opportunity for scientific discovery. That's what this is all about. So today we say thank you to T. Denny Sanford. We say thank you to all of those folks and to the Barrick Gold Corporation who agreed to donate this to us as long as we would be good stewards of the land. And I believe we have. So let me finish with this. This has been a team effort. It has been bipartisan in nature. It will continue to be a bipartisan effort to be able to look for new ways to make life for young people in the future better than what it is today. Science and research, healthcare, quantum physics all go together. But it all starts someplace with people having an idea and having a place to see whether or not their idea holds fruit. Not necessarily for this generation, but for generations to come. I thank you all for being here and celebrating a team effort that has been successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rounds. So thank you for honestly reminding some of us why we get into this business in the first place. So thank you very much. In addition to Senator Rounds, we enjoy and are very fortunate to have the strong support of Representative Dusty Johnson. Representative Johnson has served South Dakota in the House of Representatives since 2019, and even preceding that time, he has worked tirelessly and been an advocate for scientific excellence and enabling scientific excellence, not just here, but across the nation from the beginning. I first met Representative Johnson 2 years ago while we were cutting a ribbon downstairs, and I happened to be sitting next to him. I think it was a good experience for me. I hope it was for you too. But we celebrated the completion of the underground excavation. It was a great pleasure to meet him a couple years ago, and I have to say I'm very excited and joyful that he's here today. Representative Johnson.
Well, so many nice things have been said about so many nice people, and I guess I would just add my voice. Mike, congratulations on the honorary doctorate from SDSU. I think that is now roughly equivalent to my undergrad degree at USD, about the same. Oh, calm down, everybody. It's going to be fine. Of course, yes, Casey Peterson, his indefatigable support for this project is legendary. But Mike, I'm sorry you got something wrong. When Mike Rounds was talking about how the legislature agreed for this really remarkable investment for a small state, relatively poor, and this assumption of liability, he said they did that because they saw the opportunity. That's not true. They did it because Mike Rounds made them see the opportunity. And in general, I think the scientists don't get enough credit in the world and the politicians get too much. Actually, that's a system I rather like most of the time. But this is an instance where Mike Rounds has earned every accolade that he has, as anybody ever gives to him related to this project. So I just, for the next few minutes, I want to talk not as a member of Congress, but just as a proud South Dakotan. When South Dakota politicians talk to other South Dakota politicians about what is going on here, we have a tendency to talk about the economic impact or about the students and the education, and that's all great. And that's real value. But as the Undersecretary said, I wrote it down, we're going to transform our understanding of matter here. Isn't that just wild? It's not that the jobs aren't important. It's not that the purchases made here aren't important. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to transform our understanding of matter. It's hard for the politicians to understand that because, of course, these seeds, they are not harvested in the next fall. They are harvested years and sometimes decades later. The study of quantum mechanics used to be a purely abstract endeavor. And yet over time, what did it give us? Better semiconductors, better lasers, better MRI machines, better LEDs, modern computing. At the heart of the definition of exploration is the idea that you don't really know where you're going to end up. I'm not clever enough nor prescient enough to understand how the world will be changed because of this effort. But I know that the world will be changed because of this effort. And I don't know, I'm just a poor kid from Fort Pierce, South Dakota. And I don't get many opportunities to be a part of something that transforms the world. And I know this is an international collaboration, as was mentioned, and I don't want to take anything away from the unbelievable efforts of brilliant people across this globe, but I got to tell you, just as a South Dakotan, knowing that on this ground, our little piece of the planet, the fact that we are going to transform our understanding of matter is pretty incredible. And thank you to all of you who made it happen.
Thank you very much. It's with great pleasure that I introduce our next speaker, who's actually been pursuing the question that Representative Johnson just mentioned for her whole career. Gina Remika is his DOE Associate Director for the Office of High Energy and Nuclear Physics. Gina actually joined Fermilab in 1982 and allowed her to be involved in a string of neutrino experiments leading up to, actually, elected spokesperson of the DUNE collaboration, beginning her 2-year tenure in that role in 2021. She's a member of the international team of scientists who discovered the tau neutrino by making the first observation of that interaction with matter using the direct observation of the DUNE experiment at Fermilab. It's truly a pleasure. I get to work with Gina regularly. It's a pleasure. and it's a great pleasure to have her join us here today and give us a few remarks. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you very much. This is truly a special moment for DOE, Fermilab, SURF, SDSTA, CERN, the DUNE collaboration, and all of our international partners. On behalf of the DOE Office of High Energy and Nuclear Physics, I'm excited to be here to join this celebration. This is a historic next step in Fermilab's long tradition of demonstrated leadership in high energy physics. Starting with the pioneering development of the Tevatron, Fermilab has a proven track record of building some of the largest and most complex machines in the world that allow scientists to expand humankind's understanding of matter, energy, space, and time. DUNE is going to be a national asset that will continue this tradition of scientific discovery and push the bounds of what particle physics community is truly capable. My involvement with this project has been an important part of my career. As a Fermilab scientist for more than 40 years, I began working on this project in 2007, just as it was getting started. And so I'm really, really happy to be here 20 years later and seeing it on the verge. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's really, really exciting. I want to give a special thanks for the South Dakota community that I've come to know during my many years of involvement with this project. A special thanks to you, Senator Rounds and Representative Johnson, for the continued support. It's truly encouraging to have our representatives in Congress to come and support us this way. It really boosts the scientific community a lot. I'd also like to thank Mr. Mark Hogan, West River Regional Director, for Senator John Thune for attending on Senator Thune's behalf today. We know he's very, very busy, but has really gone out of his way to make sure that we recognize his support. So again, thank you for having me here today to mark this occasion. To everyone on the project team who has worked so hard to bring us to this point, I congratulate you on achieving yet another scientific milestone for discovery. So thank you.
Sorry, Gina. Got to make a small correction there. It's a great pleasure I get to introduce Mark Thompson, the CERN Director General. LBNF DUNE is truly an international partnership. I've been very fortunate in my career. Earlier in my career, there's a machine called the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, and a big portion of a chunk in the late 90s and 2000s was me contributing to the inner triplets of the machine that's now operating at CERN. I'm very aware of the power and the strength that an international partnership can bring to scientific endeavors. I've been fortunate over my career to do that, and I'm very fortunate to do that again. I only mention that as a way to introduce Mark. The steel we'll be signing today is a contribution from CERN. It's the first time CERN has invested in infrastructure on this scale for an investment outside of the CERN region. From 2015 to 2018, Mark Thompson was co-leader and co-spokes for DUNE in the United States. He's also worked on a string of neutrino experiments as well. We thank him for his presence here for today, for his continued support of this enterprise, and the success that we will have together in the future. Thank you very much, Mark Thompson.
Thanks, Jim. It's a huge pleasure to be here today in the beautiful state of South Dakota. It's great to be back. It's a very special occasion for me for two reasons. First, on a personal level, and I'll start on the personal level. Going back 11 years ago, I was elected the first co-spokesperson of the DUNE experiment. So I remember sitting in offices at Fermilab thinking about how we would design the experiment. How many cryostats would we have? How many caverns? What would the underground facility look like? Going down there today, this morning, and seeing what we sketched out on paper at the time, turning into reality was a very moving and very important moment for me. It's absolutely fantastic. Have to thank all of those involved. That goes from the DOE, Fermilab, I always get it wrong, STA, SURF, and the DUNE collaboration for making this amazing progress, and it is amazing progress. So enormous pleasure. I also remember sitting in a bar at Fermilab thinking about, well, do we know whether this technology will actually work? and we started talking about prototypes. And that's where CERN came in. We've built 2 very large prototype detectors of the same technology that will be going underground here at CERN to demonstrate and refine the technology. When I say prototypes, you might think of little small boxes, about the size of this room. I mean, these are big, large-scale prototypes. But so DUNE is really important to me, and it's a real pleasure, really, to be able to attend this event. It's been a really great journey. But today, it's not really coming here on a personal note. It's really I'm here to represent CERN. So I'm here in my role as Director General of CERN. CERN is Europe's particle physics laboratory. And I really want to celebrate, in particular, not just what we've achieved together, but CERN's very, very strong partnership with the US and Fermilab on this amazing, amazing project. This is a partnership in particle physics, enabling us to do things we could not do alone, to really explore the fundamental nature of the universe in great detail. But it's also a partnership in world-leading technology. So thank you for all my US colleagues for that strength of that partnership. We feel the strength of the partnership. We are committed to it, and we know you are committed to it. So at CERN, we are exploring the world, as mentioned previously, at a very, very fundamental nature. That's what we do. And we do that with our international partners. Now, like all partnerships are should be of mutual benefit, and they usually are of mutual benefit. So at CERN, the US Department of Energy, particularly through the national labs, Fermilab, Brookhaven, Lawrence Berkeley, is building a major contribution to the high luminosity upgrade of the Large Hadron Collider that we're about to start installing at CERN. This is the largest thing we've done at CERN for the last 20 years. These magnets that are coming from the US on time, and I'm told on budget, but definitely on time. We're very happy with that. These, just calling them magnets really downplays what they are. They're ultra-high technology, very high field magnet, very strong, very powerful, operating just above absolute zero using superconducting technology. So that's a great part of the partnership in that direction. The Large Hadron Collider, the high luminosity Large Hadron Collider, will be by far the most powerful, best accelerator collider project ever envisaged globally. But this is a two-way relationship. So after 70 years of CERN sitting in Switzerland and France on the French border, this is the first time that CERN has made a direct contribution to an experiment overseas on US soil. So this is a big step for CERN as well. And again, this is part of that partnership. I would like to thank Senator Rounds, Representative Johnson, for the support they're giving us and DUNE in the capital in DC. Now, of course, the reason CERN is here is because we believe the science. We believe in the science that's happening here. It's part of our mutual mission to understand the universe at its most fundamental level. At CERN, we smash particles together really, really hard. In the US, we're going to fire the most powerful, most intense beam of neutrinos a very large distance to explore their properties. So here we are CERN will be providing not just lots of steel, that's useful, and we'll see one of the red girders outside later. We're also providing the giant tanks that will hold the liquid argon. That is the detecting medium. Again, in sense of partnerships, we're providing technology that we have in Europe, and we've refined that technology using the ProtoDune detectors. We are committed to LBNF DUNE. It is going to be absolutely amazing. There's no question about that. And again, I just want to reiterate that strong relationship between CERN and the US, which I think is absolutely critical, not just to this experiment, but also critical to our mission at CERN. So I'm very, very happy to be here today, both on a personal level, but also representing CERN. LBNF DUNE, as I say, is going to be absolutely amazing, and thank you everyone who is making it possible to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I get to introduce Casey Peterson, the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority Board Chair, which he's chaired since 2004. You've heard various speakers talk about the long time that they've worked to develop the mine, to develop the experiment, and Casey's certainly been right there with them. It's been a journey, and his leadership has been key to the success that we're celebrating so far here today, and we will in the future. Casey's a past member of multiple things in western South Dakota. I'm not going to go through the whole list if you don't mind, but it's extensive. He's been a champion for South Dakota, and he's been a champion for SDSTA. He's consistently demonstrated the commitment of SDSTA to DUNE, and I personally welcome him here today, and it's good to see him again to this memorable occasion. Casey.
Thank you, Jim. First, I must say that in my career, I've rarely finished last. But given this distinguished panel, it's an honor. I'm very pleased. Mitakie Owasin. That's the Lakota word for we are all related. That includes the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the winged nations. Lakota believe that everything is all related. And why do I say that? Well, science is the center of this celebration. But I want to speak about the ancient wisdom surrounding the Black Hills. The Lakota call it Pahasapa or Hisapa. And for centuries, it sustained their way of life. The Black Hills continue to give us resources and answers to the mystery of life. They have consistently revealed answers and solutions to humanity. The Lakota found food and shelter, sacred ceremonies, and the power of the universe. We have benefited from the resources and the unique geology of the Black Hills. Minerals that have come out are gold, pegmatite, silver, tantalum, and mica, to say a few. You may not know this, but the birthplace of the space age occurred at the Stratobowl, which is southwest of Rapid City. It's a 400-foot deep bowl in the hills from which we launched the first balloons that went into the stratosphere. In 1934 and 1935, the U.S. Army Air Corps and the National Geographic Society launched two balloons. The first one went to 60,613 feet above the Earth. The second one, 72,395 feet. For us plebeians, that's 14 miles roughly. This gave aviation and space exploration some very important data, and it was the first picture image of the curvature of the Earth. So we are now on the site of a previously Nobel Prize winning neutrino experiment. And we're celebrating the milestone for the deep underground neutrino experiment, which is one of the most physics experiments, the largest and some of the most significant experiments ever. So as the chair of the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority, on behalf of the board and the team at SURF, I want to articulate the fact that we are humbled, honored, and pleased to host the experiment and this celebration. I want to recognize the Herculean efforts of all who bring this dream to reality. So, my relatives, we are here to celebrate the progress on our continuing effort and the journey for truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. In my time here, I have to say I don't know that I could imagine better hosts, and it's been a pleasure so far, and it will continue to be. So thank you so much for everything you do. I'd also like to point out that you're not actually last today. So last goes to Norbert, the director of Fermilab. So I have the pleasure of introducing Norbert Holtkamp Fermilab director. Norbert's recently joined the lab as director. He actually originally joined Fermilab in 1998, where he participated in the commissioning of the main injector, among other things. And that's one of the machines that will actually be setting up the protons that hit a target and send neutrinos to South Dakota. So Norbert, in his own way, has been involved in this experiment from the very beginning as well. He's managed several large scientific projects, not just in the United States, but internationally as well. As I mentioned, he's deeply familiar with Fermilab, and since day one as Fermilab's director, he has shown a deep commitment, which he has articulated regularly and directly to the support of LB&F DUNE and the priority of this for the laboratory. Norbert?
Well, thank you very much. I'm rarely the last speaker in a row of such distinguished speakers, but today is probably okay. So, following Casey's remarks. I hope you didn't want to cut me off really, but so what can I talk about when everything has been said? Well, let me try. So, it's true, all of us, all of you, are building something very extraordinary. And often the saying is, it takes a village. That's true. It takes a village. It takes all of us, takes all of you, takes everybody here. But it's also true that every village has a mayor. And I think we see a number of mayors of that village here, sitting here. And I want to point out, first of all, to our South Dakota and Illinois legislators at the federal state level and thank them for their support. It's amazing. Look at what we have, a $3.5 billion construction project on fundamental science, unwavering support. How often do we get that? And particularly, and I must say, it's a pleasure. Yes, I'm new. I'm probably one of the latest one getting on the bus here. But the kind of pleasure and fun and excitement of meeting, especially Senator Rounds in our first meeting, and being quizzed by a senator on physics, right? That's something. I mean, that's an experience. And also Representative Johnson for his just enthusiasm that's exploding when you walk into his office. It's just wonderful. So thank you very much, both of you. You are clearly a mayor on that end, and without you, I don't think this would have happened. So, but it takes a lot more. There's Senator Thune, today represented by Mark Hogan. I don't know, where's Mark? Yes, there he is. I'm probably going to point out a few names, and I think actually would appreciate if you show your hand at least so we know where you are. Mark, there he is. We have here Aaron Goldner and Jason Edward, who are from the Senate Appropriations, Energy, and Water Development. They're sitting right there. They're going to get a special tour tomorrow, also going down to the shaft and the mine. And I deeply appreciate all of your support for the project and the work of Fermilab, and a sense of strong message. And so what is this message? When I look back at the construction projects that I did and at what people described here, there's two pieces of this. One is a vision, turning a vision into an actionable project. The Undersecretary talked about it, Senator talked about it, Representative talked about it, we all talked about it. Turning something like a mine into a vision, turning something like a 27-kilometer ring into a vision, from a vision into something real, turning big projects into something that actually produces science, technology, education, and advances the US technology base. There's a citation that I read about a year ago in The Economist. I know I'm going off script, so whoever made the script, I'm sorry. But I read something really, really nicely. It talked about the science and the importance of science and technology for the United States. And it said, and it's true, if you go back, at the beginning of the last century, there wasn't a single field of science that the US led. At the end of the century, there wasn't a single one where the US didn't. And that's a tradition, I think, that we want to continue and strive for. That doesn't mean we have to be best everywhere. We are collaborators. We are partners. We have strong support. But to drive that science and to drive that vision and collectively stay at the forefront of science and technology is something that this project will help to achieve. And it will be a big part of it. We also want to point out the support that validates the positive impact to the region. South Dakota, the great state of South Dakota, that's true. It's a wonderful place. Just driving down here yesterday from the airport, well, given the weather forecast, that was kind of, a little bit not so sure, but then actually it was perfect. Sunshine, blue skies, hills, mountains sometimes, highway police, which I were particularly, whatever. So it was really, it's beautiful here. You have a beautiful state. And working in a place and being part of a state where something like this happens is wonderful. I want to point out also Undersecretaries Gil and Gina Remaker's support, unwavering support for a project that had its challenges, let's be honest. But the DOE knows about big projects and big projects coming with challenges. And the ability to overcome the challenges is a strength and not the focus on what the weaknesses are. And I think there's many, many examples. And it's true, at the moment, this is the largest construction project in the Office of Science. And we should all be proud about it. We have many people that help behind the scenes and on the scenes. I want to point out Whitney. Whitney is our site office manager for the Department of Energy. And she just makes a lot of things just happen. And it's amazing. So thank you very much for doing it. I also want to point out two representatives here from the Family Forward Discovery Group. That includes Kim Sawyer, who's here, representing the University of Chicago and FFDG, as well as John Mester. Where's John? There's John. Thank you very much, John. John is really an interface to the science community, a big part of the science community, and many of the people that will exploit the science. And then the international pieces that we a little bit talked about. But I think it's not being talked about well enough. CERN is a laboratory that was which you have a birthday coming up, right? Pardon? 73. So 73 years old. It's the first time that CERN in 73 years makes a commitment of this scale outside of its own fence. And that's something that I believe speaks to the importance, also to the commitments, but mostly to the importance of the science that people are interested in. And I think I want to thank you, Mark. I want to thank everybody really at CERN. Sergio is smiling. He is a big player in all of this too, for their support. And then yesterday we had our first dinner together with the Undersecretary. I think it was a lot of fun, actually. We had a lot of people around the table. And you looked around the table and you see people from all around the world. Collaborators, supporters, funding agencies, people that contribute in kind and people that contribute in cash, and people that are just there for the science or for the support. The United Kingdom, Italy, France, India, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Spain, Poland, Japan, on and on. It was a phenomenal round, just looking around. A beacon of international collaboration and partnership that we don't have the chance to see that much. Also, I want to recognize our partner laboratories inside the Department of Energy. We have today here two fellow lab directors. Thank you very much for coming. Mike Witherell, Paul Kearns. We have representatives from Brookhaven. There he is, all right. And also from SLAC, Zero, there he is, all right. There's 17 national laboratories inside the Department of Energy, 10 in the Office of Science, and you have already 4 here represented, and there's a couple more. Actually, one represented by our co-spokesperson, Subginia Los Alamos, and I'm sure there will be more. Not to talk about all the universities that will be on top of it. The entire DUNE collaboration, entrusting Fermilab to execute this project. We are committed, I'm committed, Director Mike Hadley, Dr. Hadley, just to point that out. And a doctor is a doctor, Representative Johnson. It doesn't matter where it comes from. So there will be no difference in how you write doctor when there's a doctor in front of. So don't take that. Amen. Amen. I want to point that out. And then, last but not least, my dear colleague, longtime friend and collaborator, Jim Kirby. I think he's another mayor of the village. Somebody who comes to work every day, and when he wakes up, he thinks about Albion of DUNE, and when he closes his eyes, until he closes his eyes, he thinks about Albion of DUNE, and that's what the project director is there for. So thank you for your commitment. Thank you for everybody helping him. The whole Fermilab project team, especially the people here in South Dakota that are out here. And I'm committed to stick by my word, which is Albion of DUNE is the highest priority of the laboratory. And I'm trying to live up to that commitment, and if I don't, let me know. On behalf of Fermilab, thanks to each of you who is with us today. I hope that all the visitors, all the people from LED, everybody who makes us feel comfortable here today takes the opportunity to talk to the VIPs, because we're all normal people and we all have a good story to tell. So please walk up to the lab directors, please walk up to the senator and the representative and the undersecretary and the CERN director. They all are actually interested in your questions. As long as they're here, thank you for coming out here. It's wonderful to have you. And with that, I want to thank you personally too, and I'm glad I'm on the bus now, although I came late, but I'm sure I'm not the last one coming. So please join us for the party, and thank you for being here.
All right, let's give one more round of applause to our speakers for their inspiring remarks. Thank you. So at this time, we're going to start heading out to the parking lot for the beam signing. We will start with asking the speakers and their staff and the other signatories to please make their way this way. We will walk along here so you guys can get started. The other signatories, we'll have the Consuls General Richard Hyde, Mario Bartoli, Michael Ahrens, Prakash Gupta, Madeleine Fekir, Didier Mate-Dissou, and Gauthier Amel de Monchenot. Please make your way this way. Yes. Everyone else, please remain seated for just a minute. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your patience. And once they are out, you are all welcome to join us in the parking lot, and we'll start the beam signing in a few minutes. Thank you. We're going to initially sign over there, right?
Yeah, I'm just here to kind of tell them don't wander off. Good. Okay. For the group photo.
Are you going to start here?
No, they're going to start down here. I'm telling them don't go away.
Okay. Are they signing this side?
Yeah.
This side.
Get all those? Very good. Get my message?
Yeah.
Which way are we going?
Yeah, this side.
This side?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Which way do you want us?
Are you doing the first signature? Are you doing the first one and then you're handing it off? I thought you were doing the first signature. No.
Okay. We're gonna get everybody up here, aren't we? Well, what we'll do is we'll sign, and then if you don't mind, stand over here and we'll do a group picture after everyone's signed.
You want me to gather you over there?
The other side. All right.
The other side, but you're gonna come back.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna come back.
You couldn't jumped in.
All right.
Following me. I think it's okay. I think so. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. No. They're gonna call them over.
Okay.
I actually.
Because like mine got like.
Yeah.
So we gotta figure out the scene. I don't want to yes. Oh, okay, well, good question. Rather than like we might actually use it.
You trust.
Okay, thank you. You know what I mean? If we're gonna do this slanted, I almost want them, you know. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm gonna.
I'm ready.
Well, I'm probably gonna use this.
I'm the sign first.
I don't know what that means. Like if that means zoom in. Okay.
Get me out of the way.
No, he won't be in the way.
Good. Yeah. Thank you.
I thought you were the hero here.
I know.
That's true. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you'll be signing? All right, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us by the cryostat beam, and welcome to any of those who joined us from the Opera House. We're happy to have you. At this time, I will announce the names of our signatories. When I call their name, they'll step forward, sign the cryostat beam, pause for a photo, and then we'll please file down to the end of the beam to wait for the group photo. So to start, I'd like to welcome Dario Gil, Undersecretary for Science at the U.S. Department of Energy.
Sir. Yeah. Okay. No pressure. Yep, it's all space. No crazy. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Join us down here.
Oh, you want to just him first?
Go back and forth. So where's
Sorry.
He needs to stay right here.
Sorry, I had to request
that?
We're going to have you just take a picture of everyone, if you don't mind. Start with yours.
Oh, you just, oh, yes. Okay, and then just think you're everyone's really good.
Up next is U.S. Senator Mike Rounds.
Okay, you got it.
Got it. All right, and if you would, stand next to the secretary.
No, go ahead. The two of them.
Okay, just you did. Yeah. It's gonna take like 40 photos.
Everyone will get one with the dart. U.S. Representative Dusty Johnson.
Thank you, sir. And if you would, with a picture with the undersecretary? Yeah, of course. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. All right.
Next, we have Gina Relica, DOE Associate Director of Science for High Energy and Nuclear Physics.
Welcome, Gina. You don't have to go in there. You can do whatever you want. There's more room.
Next is Richard Hyde, British Consul General in Chicago.
Welcome. Thank you, sir. You can pause here for a photo.
Next is Mario Bartoli, Consul General of Italy in Chicago.
Welcome. Beautiful. And we would pause here for a photo.
Next is Michael Ahrens, Consul General of Germany in Chicago.
Sir. Awesome. Thank you. You can pause right here for a photo.
Prakash Gupta, Consul General of India in Seattle.
And then once we take that picture, we can
Madan Kakia, Consul General of Canada in Chicago. Didier Marty Dessous, Counselor for Science and Technology of the Embassy of France in the United States.
Sir. You need to move over. There's more. Okay. Excellent.
Mark Thompson, Director General of CERN. Gauthier Amel de Monchenot, Director for Research and Computing at CERN.
Sir, welcome. Please, there's space. Excellent. You want to pause here for a photo?
Norbert Holtkamp, Fermilab Director.
Beautiful. Pause here for a photo.
Mike Headley, SURF Executive Director.
Beautiful. Thank you. Pause here for a photo.
E.C. Peterson, Chair of the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority.
What's crazy, the guys this year in Lake Ship
Kirby, LBNF DUNE US Project Director. Thank you so much, everyone. We will now do a group photo with all of the signatories. If you could please line up in front of the beam.
Right, just sign.